Hello, everyone. It is Mr. J-ster here, and this is the first episode of My Nightmares Drawn. So, this dream happened when I was around 6 or 7 years old. It's one of my earliest dreams that I can remember. And in this first sequence, I remember going to sleep, and I remember I was at a playground that I used to play at back in kindergarten, first grade, I think it was. Can't remember. Um, there was a little attraction there, not attraction, but jungle gym there that wasn't in my actual childhood, but I just remember it had been there and I remember climbing up on it. And I just kind of sat there for a bit and for like the first part of my dream, it was it was in like first person. But then, like the second part of at least this sequence, I think is what I'm trying to say. This sequence, it became third person. I could see myself. Now, I'm sorry, I'm horrible at explaining things. I remember the other kind of playground equipment around me disappearing, and the world around me became this very desolate, dark, and stormy night kind of thing. And I didn't really feel bothered by it. And I just sat on this jungle gym, whatever this thing is called, and I just watched as like the storm came through. Um, you're gonna see me mess up a little bit here, quite a few times, but this like storm, it wasn't like extremely rainy. It wasn't super windy, but it was very dark. And I think this was back when dreams, I would only see them, I wouldn't feel them at all. So that's kind of a weird thing to say. Really, this nightmare isn't too bad. Uh, if you don't consider the kind of age that I was when I had this. Now I watched things like NCIS and CSI when I was growing up, so it would make sense for my dreams to slowly become nightmares because I would watch that stuff and I would thoroughly enjoy it. Yeah, you can see where I messed up on on the playground equipment. I confused myself with it. I'm not good at perspective, so please give me a little bit of mercy. Um, Me and my sister were talking about Dream SMP stuff. Anyway, so in the first section of the dream, I can say that the sky was this very dark purple. It was very swirly. It was raining, but it wasn't like heavy enough. It was like a nice moderate downpour. It wasn't heavy, but it wasn't extremely light. It was like that nice relaxing type of rain. And I remember just sitting on that little playground equipment and just kind of like sitting there in the rain. What was weird is that the playground that I played in kindergarten, first grade, once more can't remember, it had kind of just disappeared around me. So I didn't know what exactly was up with that. But it was weird. It all disappeared around me, and it went from being a playground to this desert, and it didn't bother me that much growing up. Now that I think about it, this part was actually kind of serene to me, and it was like it actually felt relaxing. I don't know if I had said already, but I didn't exactly have time to do 3 sequences, so I'm gonna put the last 2 scenes of my dream, just speaking them into one, and then you'll see scene 2 being drawn. So in the second sequence, I remember being in a funeral. Funny enough, it was my parents' funeral. And, it was the first time that something felt like very real. I wasn't really emotional. Um, I think I shed like a couple tears, but I wasn't exactly sad that my parents had died. It was definitely after a storm or like heavy rain because the grass was this mossy gloss, kind of grayed out green, and we were standing next to a forest, but everything else was relatively open. I remember the people who had come for the funeral had disappeared. I was in like this black gown because, obviously, like this was like the one time in my life where I was feminine. So I was wearing just like this black gown, obviously, for funeral appropriations. And this I think what spurred my fear of spiders. Um, it was very quick and it was very fast. I'm trying to get to the point here. Thousands of spiders just came out from the ground, and my parents' caskets had opened. Um, and it was weird enough because I didn't really recognize the people inside the caskets, but I knew that they were my parents. Hence why in the drawing they're demons. It's because I don't know who these people really are. All I know is that they were my parents, but now they're dead. So their caskets open and they're still alive. And while my father is like, of course, scared, he isn't screaming like a banshee like my mother was when thousands and thousands of spiders literally crawled over their bodies and just enveloped them in this like spider. Yeah, just spiders, just enveloped them, and I remember hearing the crunches, and I remember feeling a rush of adrenaline just literally hit me in my body. It was the one time that I felt really scared as a kid, and it hit me really hard. After this sequence, I found myself in this beautiful park, like one of those parks that you would see in like New York or England or something like that. Really beautiful. It was around fall time, and the same people that were getting eaten alive by spiders were walking along the path of the park, laughing and just having a good time. This had confused me, but I remember crying in joy because I'm like, oh my god, my parents, they're alive. They didn't get eaten by spiders. And I mean, I'm just gonna say something right now. I may be saying these sequences like they're happening within like a short of a minute, but I assure you that is to cut down on the time that it actually was. I felt like this was, geez, hours worth of a feeling. Like the dreams just felt like they lasted for hours, at least close to like maybe 2-3 hours. And I remember going back to the park. I ran up to them, hugged the woman, said, "Mom, you're okay." And that's when she and the man turned around and laughed in my face and told me that I wasn't their child. And they laughed more and more. And mind you, I'm 6, 7 years old. So you can imagine my surprise, like in the dream, when they literally said, "You're not our real child, you're adopted." And they proceeded to laugh. Now, their bodies were uncanny, unnerving. Like they looked like basically like dolls, and they just looked fake completely. And this unsettled me. And then being told that I was adopted, I just felt fear, and I started like crying as they were just laughing at me for being basically adopted. I remember waking up right after this, and I couldn't tell if I was still in the dream or not. And of course, like the first thing I did was run to my parents' room. And I remember just sobbing into my mom's arms after waking her up. And then I asked, "Mom, am 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 I adopted?" And she's like, "No, no, of course not." But another question that I never asked, and I still remember this question because I wanted to ask it very badly, was, "Are one of you lying?" Because I had a problem with liars growing up because I felt like everyone would lie to me. So one of the questions I didn't ask was, "Are you lying?" Or one of you lying? Um, Ever since that day, I really have had kind of trust issues with them. I mean, I still love them. I love them. They're my parents. But I have trust issues that one of them is still, lying. And so, like obviously, growing up, I felt like one of them always was lying. And I feel like if I didn't have this dream, these kind of thoughts wouldn't have spurred, and I would have been better off after this nightmare. But that is the least worst nightmare I've ever had. And I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!